Batman Boxing Talk, man. We back.
Yep.
This video is in response to a comment that we got from a subscriber. What was his name?
Punch for Pound.
Punch for Pound. He left us a super long comment on the Canelo Kovalev video, and it was too long for me to type and respond. So we decided to do a video to respond. So Alan's gonna read.
I'm gonna start with legitimizing WBA regular belt for 168 for Canelo is more of what I said, watering down the sport. You think you are celebrating Canelo, but you don't realize the damage you are doing to the entire sport of boxing when you say that.
Okay, so my response to that is, don't get me misconstrued when I say Canelo is a weight division, will be looked at as a weight division champion in 3 weight classes. I'm talking about what the perception of that will look like 20 years from now.
Right.
Right now, yeah, it's a regular WBA title.
Right.
But the perception of what that's going to look like for your grandkids or this person, he's going to go down in history as being one of 2 people who held titles in 3 weight divisions.
If he beats Kovalev.
If he beats Kovalev. That's a response to that. It's so many paragraphs on here. We're going to respond after each paragraph. So,
Oh,
yeah,
and
did y'all have anything?
Yeah, and one thing I need to say, look, I want to thank you very much for your comment, and you took a lot of time and put a lot of thought into it. That's why we are responding to you specifically on this video. And look, for everybody else, man, look, it's all our opinion.
All of it.
Every boxing channel on YouTube is their opinion.
Right.
So don't take it so seriously.
Yeah, the one thing y'all gotta understand is none of us are getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all out of our love for the sport. Just like I'm an Eagles fan and you're a Cowboys fan, nobody's entitled to have the same mindset or thought process. So we definitely.
I'm not saying I was a Redskin.
I know. I ain't gonna put your Redskins out to say no. But yeah, so it's just it's all love. We appreciate the comments. We like reading the comments. We like responding. Because the whole purpose of us starting this channel was to interact with other boxing fans and get other perceptions and have friendly arguments and debates on boxing, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's entertainment, And just like I'm a big Canelo fan, these guys are big Ray Leonard fans. It makes for heated, discussions or arguments when we talk about our favorite fighters or this or that. Just like I'm a LeBron James fan and I talk trash to people that like Kevin Durant. Like, it's all out of love. But we wanted to respond because we definitely appreciated you taking the time to, write these long paragraphs.
All right, we go to the next one.
Right.
Neither Floyd or Canelo have ATG resumes. I'm going to say
all-time great.
All-time
great.
Okay. All-time great resumes. With all due respect, fans like you guys are watering down the sport every time you say things like that. Yeah, Kovalev's old and slow, but this makes Canelo an all-time great. Well, if you're going to give him that just for fighting old slow guys, then why would he fight anyone else? You already giving away the farm after his first lowball offer. That's not how the negotiation, the leverage, the balance between fans or media and the boxers is supposed to work. At least, as I said, it waters the whole thing down.
That's it for that one.
That's the paragraph.
Anybody else want to start?
Okay. Look, nobody's saying that Canelo's going to Canelo's resume. Whether is an all-time great resume. Floyd Mayweather's resume is an all-time great. You got to understand. Look, any fighter in boxing history, damn near, resume, you can pick apart if you wanted to. If you wanted to go through a fine-tooth comb, you can find things. Look, when Muhammad Ali fought on his way up, fought fighters, you can go through that. Mike Tyson, when he was on his way up and when he became champ, you could go through that and you could say the only time Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson started losing, when people started fighting him back, and people still consider Mike Tyson an all-time great.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather has fought, even though, I say that, there's more titles out there now, but still, Floyd Mayweather has fought more champions and previous champions than anybody in the history of the sport. And he did fight a lot of people on the way up. I mean, you can make excuses for why he beat the people. He retired undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather, at one time, I think he held 2 belts. And 2 belts.
He had 2 belts at welterweight, and he had 2 belts at super welterweight. Super welterweight.
Yeah, super welterweight. So, and Canelo, with his resume now of the people he fought, whether you think he won or lost, puts him as one of the all-time greats, man.
And the way that I go about that is, I can't fault Floyd Mayweather for being born when he was born.
Absolutely.
So it goes back to what I said in the previous video. Errol Spence is a generation behind. And when I say generation, I don't mean age. I'm talking about from when he started boxing. Yeah. He's a generation behind Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. Just like Floyd Mayweather was a generation behind De La Hoya, Pernell Whitaker, Shane Mosley, all of those guys. So I can't fault him for fighting those guys when he's at his prime and they're older. Just like George Foreman didn't fought Michael Moore for fighting him older. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be something that you could, like you say, fine-tooth comb. If you go through Sugar Ray Leonard's record, you could fine-tooth comb
and
him fighting certain people. Duran being 190, 200 pounds, and then his manager coming and saying, look, you got to train for the rematch. Like, there's always stuff that you can go through and make up an excuse as to why this person won, or why Floyd did this, or why Canelo did this. But at the end of the day, I've always said, once you step in the ring, there are no excuses. If you couldn't make the weight, postpone. If you got a shoulder injury, postpone the fight. If your arm is hurt, your finger's broken, postpone the fight. Once you get in the ring, you can't make excuses as to why you lost. Just like the Thurman. Cool. I was cool with the fact that he didn't say anything about the hand beforehand. Go in there and fight, because 9 times out of 10 we probably wouldn't have heard anything about the hand if you would have won.
Yeah.
If Manny Pacquiao would have beat Floyd Mayweather, we wouldn't be talking about no shoulder injury.
Absolutely not.
We'd be talking about Manny Pacquiao beating Floyd Mayweather. Like that.
And we wouldn't have heard any soldier from Manny Pacquiao. And I just want to clarify something. Like you said, when he says generation, I'm gonna put it in this text, Brandon, so they can understand it. They did not fight each other in the amateurs, because when they were golden, Earl was silver.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When so that's what seniors, he was a junior.
He was a junior. So that's what they mean by that. And that's the one I was looking for, the seniors and juniors.
Right.
So therefore, that's what he means by generation. Not that, not when they became pro.
Right.
Yeah, when they became age-wise. But no, they didn't fight each other as amateurs because Earl was a junior when they were seniors.
Right.
That's what we mean by that. That's not, don't go off and say, oh no, they in the same generation, the same age. No. We're talking about as amateurs, he was behind them.
Right.
So he could not fight them.
Okay. You got anything that?
You got anything to add to that?
No, y'all got it. I'm read. Y'all got it.
All right, cool. Who we got next?
Respect your comment, by the way, though.
Yeah, definitely. He had valid points.
Yes, he does.
But it's like,
points. Yeah.
if you want to do that, then you can, like you say, you can go through everybody's resume and fine-tooth comb and pick out certain stuff. And that goes even back to the Ali days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I think too, it's a different game. It's a different sport now. It's more belts out there. The watering down thing he's saying, I don't think that applied 20, 30 years ago, because there wasn't as many avenues.
Wasn't as many sanctioning bodies.
Yeah.
You had one belt at one point. Then you had two belts at one point. So you had 2 ranking systems. And then once the 2 people became champions, they fought. So it wasn't as hard. And now you have, which you always had promoters in the pockets of the sanctioning bodies, but now you have, if you go look at the WBO champions, it's rare that you got a WBO champion that's a PBC fighter. Most of those WBO champions are either with Matchroom or with Bob and Aaron.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
The politics.
It's politics in it, and the thing is, you can't ignore them. If you want to be a fan and just be a fan, that's cool. But you're gonna always be disappointed if you ignore the underlining of what's really going on.
That's true.
And that's why I state what I state. Because yeah, as a fan, I want to see Canelo fight Charlo. I think he can beat him. I want to see Canelo fight Andre. I want to see Charlo fight Andre. But I understand that DAZN is its own platform. PBC is its own platform. Eddie Hearn is a promotional. Matchroom is a promotional company. Bob Arum is a promotional company. And these guys are in it to make money.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, you can say, "Oh, this person's ducking this person." 9 times out of 10, they not. A lot of people thought Sean Porter was scared of Earl Spence.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Danny Garcia was scared of Earl Spence. Danny Garcia was in the ring last night.
Mm-hmm.
But what you got?
I'm gonna read the next two because it's all Canelo.
It's shorter.
I'm
Okay.
gonna read all of them for Canelo. The next three is Canelo.
And I'm just letting you know right now, if you read about Canelo, you know what it's going to say now.
Oh, wait a minute. Before you start there, I'm just saying, look, if he beats Kovalev, you could talk about the 168, which, you know, if you listen to it, I was the one over here doing that video saying a regular belt. But that's only an argument that is going to be amongst fans.
Right
but
now.
when you look at, like you say, 20 years from now, it's going to say he held simultaneously
3 belts.
3 belts in 3 different divisions.
And the only person, and the thing is,
They're not going to say regular belt.
Right, and-
they're going to say
right.
he was a champion in 3 different
Right.
divisions simultaneously.
and the thing is, they're going to put him in a category with Henry Armstrong.
Absolutely.
Did he really do what Henry Armstrong did?
No.
Because back then there were no junior and super classes.
Exactly.
There was lightweight, welterweight, middleweight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Henry Armstrong, I think, was the lightweight champion, the welterweight champion, and the middleweight champion.
Yep.
He fluctuates.
You know-
so that's from 135.
135 to 160.
Yeah.
You know, so what Canelo is doing would be equivalent to being 135 pound, 140 pound, and 147 pound.
160 to 175, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, he's not doing that. But in the history books, they're gonna say 2 people held titles in 3 weight classes simultaneously.
Yep.
Canelo Alvarez and Henry Armstrong.
You know, and then that word legacy, that's where that comes at because it's not. I mean, though we're watching it 20 years from now. Like I say, his name will always be in the history
Right.
books. What was that? What movie was that? Was it Troy? Brad Pitt was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Canelo versus Prime Triple G at 160. Who wins?
Okay, hold on. Stop that right there. Let me tell you. I don't mean to cut you off. Canelo fought Triple G when he was in his prime. Okay, when was Triple G in his prime? When he fought Kell Brook? When he fought Jacobs? Come on now, stop that.
He was in his prime when he fought Canelo. Look, you can't say he wasn't in his prime because people said that he got, exposed somewhat by Kell Brook or something like that, or he didn't knock out Daniel Jacobs. That doesn't mean he wasn't in his prime. Look, you got to understand, he stepped up in competition, and he did not use all of his skills with Kell Brook because once he realized like Kell Brook couldn't hurt him, he just
tried to
threw all
take him out.
caution to the
Right.
wind and tried to knock him out. And he was still in his prime, basically.
He
I'm
was
not going
in
to
his
give it.
prime.
Yeah,
You
he was
stop
in his
that.
prime when he fought goddamn
Canelo.
Canelo. Just
And see, that's the thing, because it's like you go look at comments now and then it's like, oh, Porter got robbed, or Spence can't beat Bud, or like that proves my point of there's always going to be naysayers, regardless of what you do. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why boxers do what they want to do because people gonna say something regardless.
Canelo versus Parag at 160.
Well,
Who wins?
because Pirog knocked out Danny Jacobs. But okay, but
Canelo versus Prime Sergio is 50-50 based on the Lara fight. Canelo versus Prime Sergio is 50-50 based on the Lara fight. Canelo versus Plant or Benavidez at 168. Who wins? Canelo versus Prime Vazic or Bivol at 175. Who wins?
So okay, so why to say prime?
was
right?
that it? Al?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, no, let me read the
Go
next one. In other words, Canelo is not the best in a single weight class, but he's using selective matchmaking, choosing the right style of opponents and age of opponents to create the illusion that he's the best in all 3, or the best guy pound for pound in the weight range, when he's not even the best in a single division in the weight range in this era.
Okay. Could I ask one question? at 160, who's better than Canelo? I just want to know. You know, I know you can't respond right now, but maybe you could write it in the comments. Maybe you think Andre is. Maybe you think Charlo is, but I don't agree with you. I think Canelo is the best at 160.
Right. And it's based on his resume.
It's based on
because you can't definitively say that Charlo is the best at 160 when his biggest win is a 54-pound J-Rock or Sebastian Hyland or Hugo Centeno or Brandon Adams.
Okay.
You know, you can't definitively say that Demetrius Andrade is the best at 160 when he fought Selecki. You know, like
he did, and quite honestly, I wasn't impressed with that fight at all.
So, in my opinion, I think you're wrong because I think Canelo is the best fighter at 160 as of right now. Now, that doesn't mean that Charlo can't beat him or Andre can't beat him. Yeah. But based on what we know, Canelo is the best. Yeah. It's like saying Floyd was never the best 147-pounder because he jumped up to 54 and back to 47 and up to 50. No, we know that he was the best 147-pounder even though he didn't fight Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't fight Danny Garcia. You know, like that to me.
I wonder does he even have Canelo on his pound for pound?
Who knows, you know?
Yeah, because you're saying that obviously you thinking that everybody, like you said, it's yet to be determined, like, you know, with Caleb Plant and all of them.
And right, look how David Benavidez looked against Darrell last night. Like, you don't think Canelo could slip those long jabs and beat that body up? Like,
the only thing is, I think that he'll be fighting a bigger fighter than Kovalev if he fought Benavidez.
I mean, height-wise, but
I'm talking about weight-wise. Man, that man was a heavyweight.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Depends on where Kovalev come in at. Like I said, man, shoot, he fighting Benavidez. I think he just as tall as or taller than K.
He like 6'3" or 6'4".
So he's taller than Kovalev, right?
Yeah, Kovalev like 6'1".
Yeah, okay.
But the thing, Rocky Fielding was 6'3". You know what I'm saying? I'm just using it in a height perspective. Not to say that Rocky Fielding is as good as David Benavidez. Right. Oh. But the thing is, when you look at this, when you look at the style of David Benavidez, it's a come forward with your hands up. Canelo's can be slick. Canelo can stand in front of you. I think Canelo, like I said, I think Canelo has a chance against everybody at 68. Callum Smith, David Benavidez, and Caleb Plant. You know, especially based on what Darrell did last night, was able to jab him and hit him to the body whenever he wanted to be honest. So you can't definitively say that Canelo doesn't compete well with those guys or can't beat those guys. Just like we don't know how good Dimitri Bivol is. We don't know how good Vosick is. Yeah, he beat Stevenson, but damn, so did Badu Jack had he not took his foot off the gas. You know, like it's all, like I said, it's always ways that you can downplay a victory. Like I can say Vosick beat an old Adonis Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always a way that you can downplay the victory of somebody's victory or who they beat.
Was Sergio Martinez, was Canelo even at middleweight?
And that's the thing. We keep talking about would he have beat Sergio Martinez in his prime? Would Cotto have beat Sergio Martinez in his prime?
That's a valid question.
We don't know that. To me, those questions are asinine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they have nothing to do with what's going on. If you want to say it's watering down the sport, cool. It very well may be, in your opinion. You know, like. But I don't think that Canelo fighting Kovalev changes the fact that you still have 6 promoters who aren't going to make fights that make sense. So if that's the thing, that's not the only thing that's watering down the sport. It's promoters. If you want to be honest, you need to get rid of promoters. They need to get rid of all these sanctioning bodies. It needs to be one belt. Yeah. And at that point, promoters have to work with each other if they want to get a title shot for their employee or whatever the case may be, or their stable fighter or whatever. But I mean everything is watering down the sport.
I think, and again, it's a different sport now because at one time with the WBA, WBCs, 2 belts, but also it meant something to be a champion. You couldn't be a Floyd Mayweather and come in and make more money than the champion. You took 25% against the champion 75%, and if you wanted to make that 75%, you had to beat the champion. Right. So it was a different game at one time than it is now, because you got guys that'll go fight a champion and still make more money than the
And the
champion.
thing-
And that's still in the rule books because if it goes to purse bid, that's the way it
right.
goes. It goes 75-25.
Right.
If it goes to purse bid.
But the thing is, a lot of people blame Floyd Mayweather for that when they forget that Tyson was the first person to start really doing that.
Ray Leonard.
Ray Leonard.
Yeah,
Ray
Ray
Leonard,
Leonard, yeah.
Tyson.
Yeah.
But Tyson, I'm talking about the astronomical amounts of money. Ray Leonard might have been making 10s, 15.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson was the first person to start making 30. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
those those crazy numbers. You know what I'm saying? And Tyson was making that as a challenger.
I know, and
You
like
know?
you said, but it started me and Alec can say it started with Ray Leonard.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Ray Leonard, because of like I said, his celebrity when he did fight for a title, I don't think he got 25% when he fought
I don't know.
Wilfred
That might be
Benitez.
something you need to look up.
Yeah, I think he got more than Benitez, didn't he?
Possibly.
Yeah.
All right, mix in some PEDs
Hmm.
to help
There
you
you
beat
go.
the old guys. Since even in your prime, you're still struggling to beat them, and what you have is a complete con job on the fans from start to finish. And it sounds like all three of you are falling for it. I'm gonna say that you hate Canelo Alvarez. That's what it sounds like to me.
And then not only that, you gotta understand when you get to,
Well, that's cutting through the bullshit, ain't it, Alec?
when you get to the elite level, you're not just gonna knock out guys. Like people get it confused with.
Yes.
You see these guys get matched
Mm-hmm.
perfectly on the rise, and they're getting these knockouts. And
Shout
then-
out to Kenny Porter who said this
Yeah.
before the fight. He said, "You gotta understand." But go
Yeah,
ahead, Brian.
when you get to the level of competition where everybody damn near is even, and you got people like Sean Porter who's not going to take a left hook and lay down.
Mhm.
You got people like Danny Garcia who might not take a left hook and lay down, or who might can deliver a left hook better than Chris Algieri.
Mm-hmm.
The fights are tougher. Triple G was knocking out everybody until
Yeah.
he got in the ring with Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
Until he got in the ring with Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
And you can't say that, he fell off, because then he came back and knocked out Vanis Martirosyan.
Exactly.
He came back and knocked out, what's his name, Rose or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Rose.
Yeah.
So that shows you that it's the level of competition.
Competition.
It's not the fact that he's getting old and couldn't knock out Canelo. Canelo is an elite level fighter. It's just like
Yeah.
Canelo and Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is an elite level fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you got people like Kirkland. Yeah, he's gonna knock him the hell out. Khan, he's gonna knock him out. Liam Smith, he's gonna knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Charlo's knocking out Hugo Centenos and Sebastian Highlands and those type of guys. But when the level of competition rises, unless you got incredible power like Wilder, you're not going to just be able to go in there and get rid of these guys like that. Because
And Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia is a perfect example of that. Because Mikey Garcia wanted to survive, and guess what? He survived.
And I'm gonna tell you this: you got a lot of these guys on the come up. Their life, their job is working out, getting ready for fights, and they fighting people that have 9 to 5s and then might go work out after.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now you get to the point where we're all working all day, every day. So the level of competition changes. So y'all gotta stop that. Just like Ray Leonard and Hearns was a hard fight. Those guys were at the elite level.
Exactly. And up until that point, Hearns was 32-0 with 30 knockouts.
Yeah, the elite level. You know that's all that is.
All right, next paragraph. As for Floyd,
Oh, here we go.
the one difficult
Wasn't
opponent
even talking
he
about
didn't
him.
cherry pick was Corrales. But Corrales showed up sick and starved, a walking corpse in the ring. His strength trainer, Alex Ariza, explained the whole situation in an ES News interview after he was working with Floyd later on, so you know he had no reason to lie about it. He said he even explained to Floyd that was the biggest mistake of his career, and he was grateful Floyd gave him a second chance to prove himself.
Okay, so was
Let me-
Wilder
let me-
sick
let me-
when
let me- let me read the
okay,
next
I
one.
thought you was done. My
No,
bad.
let me read the next one. I'm gonna put these two together. That's not Floyd's fault that Corrales showed up like that, but it's the reality of what happened. What is Floyd's fault is the lack of other top challenges after that. If Floyd had taken 5 or 10, then only 1 or 2 would have shown up fucked up like Corrales, and there would still be plenty of other ones to give Floyd credit for. But since he didn't, there aren't. And the whole point of the Corrales fight is we don't even know if Floyd would have won, let alone look like Superman, if Corrales hadn't gone to the ring a walking corpse. Other legacy fights would have clued us in, but Floyd didn't want to take any.
Okay, can I look?
Well, you got it.
I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and look at our video. I don't know how you went from Canelo to Floyd, but here we go. You're right. It wasn't Floyd's fault.
And that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's point number one. And who are these 5 to 10 other fights you're talking about that he could have took down there that was killers like Corrales was?
People forget that Floyd tried to fight Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley fought De La Hoya.
Yeah, he tried to fight what was it the boy Acelino Freitas.
He didn't lose. He lost though, right? Acelino Freitas lost.
But he wasn't trying to fight him. And Casamayor down there. He wasn't trying to fight him either.
And Costa Zoo, but then Costa Zoo lost to Ricky Hatton. You also have to put forth the timelines of what happened and when that happened. It's just like we was talking about the Canelo duck Demetrius Andre. Why would I fight Demetrius Andre when I have an opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather? I don't fault Sugar Shane Mosley for not fighting Floyd and fighting De La Hoya. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense.
Oh, and let me say something real quick. As far as, talking about Floyd, we don't know what would have happened if Corrales would have shown up, 100%. No, I'm not going to say, look, of course, I know we don't know 100%, but we know.
We got an idea.
Yeah, we got an idea because he got the living shit beat out of him in that fight.
Bark!
So, yeah.
Bark beat out of him.
Yeah, Bark beat out of him in that fight. So therefore, if he'd have showed up 100%, it wasn't like it was close. More than likely, Floyd would have still beat him. He probably wouldn't have just beat him as bad.
Right.
Period.
Like
he went down 5 times, so he might went down 3.
Yeah. But the thing with this, the excuses is Wilder fought Ortiz sick.
Yeah.
Lost weight to, was it 208 pounds or some shit. You can't make excuses once you decide to get in the ring. If there is an issue beforehand, then you need to postpone the fight. Just like Tony Harrison did. You can't twist your ankle, get in there and then fight, and then make up an excuse as to you lost because you twisted your ankle. Pull out of the fight and get better and fight it 100%. It's not my job to worry about my coach used to tell me all the time. I used to get mad when we had to play downs. I remember a game we had to play like a JV team or something like that. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to play them. My coach said, I don't give a fuck who on the court. You dog them. You put 60 on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't play down to the competition. It's not Floyd's job to say, oh, you know what, he hurt, so I'm going to take it easy. No, I'm going to go ahead and get him out the way, and I'm moving on. That's not Floyd's issue.
Yeah.
Like, then you...
Well, and that's also with the comments of fighting older fighters. If that older fighter, if that older fighter decides to get in the ring with a young lion, it is what it is.
You gotta stop that. People don't take credit away from De La Hoya for beating Chavez.
And that's
actually do.
It's rare though, but I'm saying like,
and all the Latinos did. They hated him for it.
But the thing
is, that's Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes decided to get in the ring. Bottom line,
it's the changing of the guard. That's what happens. So normally, regardless of the sport, it's always whether it was Magic to Jordan or whoever. It's always a changing of the guard. It's always a passing over of the torch. Fucking De La Hoya had to beat Chavez. Mayweather beat De La Hoya. Manny Pacquiao beat De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. Fighters aren't going to be the same age. So you fight when you can fight. George Foreman can't get mad because he was 45 when Evander Holyfield was 20. If you decide to get in there to fight, then you decided to get in there and fight. And what happens.
Yeah, what happens. Foreman stand that actually was a good fight. Foreman put up a damn good fight.
I just want to know the 5 to 10 that he was like.
Yeah, make sure you comment that. What 5 or 10 fights that he could have fight. And when you do it, because you like to write. I see you like to type. put in the comments the timeline and why he didn't fight him. Because I'm pretty sure it's just like when we was talking about the Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Well, shit, if I got a De La Hoya fight right here, why would I fight Paul Williams? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put in the timeline, man. You got to put in the timeline. So the video got cut off, man. We had to come back with part 2. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. But where we leave off at, Allen?
All right. Picking up. As for Floyd, the one difficult opponent he didn't cherry pick was Corrales. But Corrales showed up sick and starved, a walking corpse in the ring. His strength trainer, Alex Ariza, explained the whole situation in an ES News interview after he was working with Floyd later on, so you know he had no reason to lie about it. He said he even explained to Floyd that was the biggest mistake of his career, and he was grateful Floyd gave him a second chance to prove himself.
Yeah, I think we had already covered that. What was after that?
That's not Floyd's fault that Corrales showed up like that, but it's the reality of what happened. What is Floyd's fault is the lack of other top challenges after that. If Floyd had taken 5 or 10, then only 1 or 2 would have shown up fucked up like Corrales, and there would still be plenty of other ones to give Floyd credit for. But since he didn't, there aren't.
Okay, hold on. 5 or 10 what?
You're going to have to call us back on that.
Yeah, you have to get back to us on that.
I think he's talking about 5 or 10 different opponents, which I want to know who are those 5 or 10
right.
different opponents.
Who are those 5 or 10? Like I said, you have to get back with us on that one. Go ahead, finish.
All right. But since he didn't, there aren't. And the whole point of the Corrales fight is we don't even know if Floyd would have won, let alone looked like Superman, if Corrales hadn't gone to the ring a walking corpse. Other legacy fights would have clued us in, but Floyd didn't want to take any.
Okay.
What are these other legacy fights?
Yeah, that I guess that was in the 5 or 10 that he's gonna get back to us. But what I'm saying is this. I'm just gonna go with your narrative. I'm not gonna dispute it. You know, you say Corrales came in as a walking corpse. We don't know what would have happened if he would have came in, 100%. I think we have a good measurement of what would have happened if he came up 100%. Maybe it would have been a closer fight, but clearly, because he was so outclassed and knocked down, how many times was it? 5?
Yeah, it would have been 2 knockdowns.
Maybe 2 knockdowns. He was still, look, even when Corrales was at his best, he was still very slow, hit hard, his arms were short, and Floyd said leading up to the fight that, Corrales, he had never been able to touch me. And, he basically proved that. I just don't think, and Corrales, his defense wasn't the best, so he would have still been getting tattooed, even at his best. Look back at other fights, so I think that Floyd still would have beaten him. Maybe a more competitive fight, but I still believe Floyd would have beaten him. What you think, B?
I just get tired of the excuses, man. It's always an excuse. If this would have happened, if the moon would have been blue, if the sun was orange, it's all, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, once you step foot in the ring, there is no excuses.
Exactly.
There is no excuses. And like I said, we always talk about Floyd didn't do this or Floyd didn't do that. Like, do we forget the path that he took on the way to being Money Mayweather? Like, do we forget the fighters that he fought who was supposed to be the Angel Manfredis of the world? Mm-hmm. Do we forget? Like, we forget about those? Why do we always bring up the 36-year-old traits of Floyd Mayweather? And at that point, like I said, I felt like he earned his keep. He could do what he wanted to do at that point. He had already proved that he was the best in the world. Like, it's not his fault that he was that much better than everybody. Simple as that. And to prove my point, people love to say, "Oh, this person was old," or Sugar Shane was old, or this. We just seen a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao beat a 30-year-old Keith Thurman. Stop that. Stop that.
Age does matter somewhere.
Man.
Age does matter.
Not
but
when you were,
I mean,
not when
but-
you were an athlete that,
but-
that trained. You know what I'm saying? Of course, when you start getting 40, Bernard Hopkins,
Reflexes,
Big
man.
George Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when great fighters find ways around that. Floyd's reflexes at 36 wasn't the same as they was at 27,
I agree.
but he found ways around that. He found other avenues to make up for the slower reflexes. Whether that was not fighting as much, being more defensive than normal.
exactly.
He found ways to not allow those slower reflexes to make
And I think that was a testament to his father, Floyd Sr., and because you remember, I forgot what fight it was, and it wasn't.
it was Cotto.
It was Cotto. Yeah, when he said, "No, look, if you're gonna make it through the Showtime contract,
Yeah,
you can't be fighting like that.
can't get hit as
You
much.
can't get hit as much." So, I mean, great fighters make adjustments. I mean, we could talk about that he fought Shane, at an older, but like you said, you cannot discount everything he did on the way up. You talk about the Corrales fight, and you try to take away because you know that most people bring up Corrales because Corrales was supposed to be this. I mean, where he was, I'm not going to be supposed to be. He was a knockout artist, and he totally got embarrassed in there. So, and he kept getting up. I mean, for somebody who was sick or a dead man walking,
Kept
you know what I'm
getting
saying? He kept getting up. So, I mean, like I said, and like you said, the Angel Manfredis, the people was thinking that when he fought Angel Manfredi, that was too soon. Gerald Hernandez, Gennaro Hernandez, they said it was too soon for him to fight him because he was the most experienced champion in the division.
Valdemir.
Yep.
Like a lot of these guys, they said Floyd was too young to fight when he fought him.
Yeah.
And he did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do. So, I mean, what's the next thing I know? I mean, you want to comment on it, Alan?
Well, I mean, play devil's advocate. That sort of plays into what I said months ago. That all those guys.
But the thing is, you can say that, but tell me who else should he have fought.
I can't. Tell
So
you
then
that.
there's no point in saying it.
All right, that's why.
There's no point in saying it.
Okay. To continue, Mosley was old and off the sugar, as Floyd himself said. Cotto probably Floyd's best win, but post Margarito and the slower Latino style, in this case with short arms, that Floyd always did well against. Canelo young, yes, but I think that's fair game.
Okay, hold on. Shane Mosley was old, but one fight before Floyd, he beat Bach out of Margarito. The fight before Floyd Mayweather, he beat Bach out of Margarito.
That's true.
But then you fight Floyd 6 months later, and now you old.
I mean, if you say that, okay, this is the thing. If you say that Shane Mosley was old, you discount that, but you turn around and say Cotto was his possibly best win, but then you turn around and take the credit from that, talking about after Margarito, which I agree wasn't the same fighter after Margarito hit him with damn cast on his hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Cotto was also a great fighter, and you saw in that, Cotto changed it up a little bit too. When he was getting beat, he started boxing and everything else.
And not only that,
Cotto had he had also
went up to middleweight
went up the middleweight
and won a middleweight
Which,
title.
Yeah,
Like,
after
Floyd.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
after
saying?
Floyd.
Y'all
So,
gotta stop that, man.
yeah, so I mean, to take away, I mean, look, I think you make some valid points. I'm not going to discredit all your points or whatever, but I'm gonna say this: we can pick apart any fighter who has ever lived resume if we want to go through it with a fine tooth
Except
comb.
De La Hoya.
Except De La Hoya. Yeah, De La Hoya fought everyone like when they were in their prime, actually. Even a spatula.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Except De La Hoya. What else we got? You said
You can't pick apart De La
Who?
Hoya's
Who?
resume?
who?
He
If
fought
you, I mean, if you're gonna say he won fights that he shouldn't have won, or lost fights that he should have won, yeah. But I'm talking about as far as who he fought when he fought him.
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, no, can't
But-
take
okay.
that away from him.
All right,
He
yeah.
definitely lost some fights.
Yeah, but he won some fights that he shouldn't have lost
The
either too.
biggest
So
fight of his career, he lost, and he should have won that one. So, I mean, that's my opinion. All right, gonna get back on Canelo. Floyd was older. Canelo was younger. The issue is
see what I'm
Canelo.
saying? Now you're too young. Like it's either the nigga too old or you too
Let
young.
him finish.
Go ahead. I'm just be getting upset. Go ahead, man. The big angry guy in the middle.
Yeah, the big angry guy in the middle today. You know what I'm saying? Damn, homie, let him read the thing. Little big angry man in the middle.
Floyd was older. Canelo was younger. The issue is Canelo was drained. 152 is 3 pounds below where he ever fought again outside of the Smith fight. Half a weight class. The Canelo we now see is improved, yes, but more than that, he's simply healthy. Pacquiao was old and injured. You can say only one.
Oh my God!
You can say only one of those things is Floyd's fault, except for the fact Floyd's hometown commission is who denied Pacquiao his shoulder injection before the fight, which is probably what led to it getting re-injured in the fight.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Let me read it.
Okay, go ahead.
At the same time, Pac is being denied shoulder meds. Floyd is being allowed illegal amounts of saline 4s that are known to mask steroids. Pac tried to go through the proper channels, but they used incorrectly filled out paperwork to stop him from getting the injection. Floyd, meanwhile, simply ignored the proper channels, blatantly broke the rules without asking for permission, got caught, and then weeks after the fight, they gave him a retroactive therapeutic use exemption. Go.
Okay. If you looked at, I don't know if it was the epilogue or it was the one before then, when, you know, the Maypac thing. Incorrectly filled out paperwork. They asked the man, did he have any injuries? He said no on his paperwork. It wasn't incorrectly filled out. He said lied. No, he lied. If he had an injury, he lied. So if he would have filled it out correctly, then you would have an argument. Because you said if it was filled out and he said, yeah, I had a little nagging injury, then and they still denied him the the shot, then you have an argument. But you go to the paperwork, why do you need a shot when you say you have no injuries? All of a sudden your shoulder hurt, you want a shot for the shoulder? No. It was his team or whoever it is that messed it up. They lied on it, so that's why he didn't get the shot. And an old Pacquiao, Floyd is older than Pacquiao.
And not only that, Pacquiao at 40 just whooped Keith Thurman. So you telling me a 5-year gap between the time that Floyd fought Pacquiao, 5 years later, he's still whooping up on young champions, but he was old 5 years ago.
What has Pacquiao done since that Floyd fight? He beat Matisse. He's beaten the Algieri fight.
He lost to Jeff Horn.
He lost to Jeff Horn.
But I mean, what? He's 4-1.
Man, to be honest, he ain't lost because he beat Jeff Horn. To be honest,
yeah, but he beat Broner.
And he be beating young people. Broner. I ain't gonna never talk bad about Broner, so you can cancel that. But he beat Keith Thurman.
Shout out to Broner, selling bricks now.
That was the end.
No.
Oh, whatever.
Marquez Floyd brought up 2 divisions at once, then missed weight. So Floyd pulled up Marquez. So Floyd pulled up Marquez 3 divisions at once. That's unheard of at the top level of boxing. Madonna was against slow Latino style with shorter arms, but what he did have was power. So Floyd fucked with Madonna's one advantage. The only thing that made the fight challenging at all, making him switch gloves from puncher's gloves to boxer's gloves. The Madonna you saw versus Broner was not the same as you saw versus Floyd. Floyd paid him off to wear different gloves. Paying your opponent extra money to curb their biggest advantage in the fight is basically a fixed fight.
Okay. Because you sent us a whole dissertation on this, so I know you know boxing. And you know, going back to who you have 2 huge Ray Leonard fans on here. Ray Leonard did the same thing.
Everybody
who's the A side tries to skew everything to their advantage. When Floyd fought De La Hoya picked the gloves, the ring size, everything.
Mm-hmm. And then not only that, it's like you're using an excuse as if Floyd said, put him in some shit that's gonna break his wrist, or put him in some shit that he gonna fuck his knuckles up. No, he said put him in the same shit as me. Like, no, I'm not about to give you a fucking unfair advantage to beat me. You got some fucking gloves that don't have padding in them. So you think I'm going to feel this and say, yeah, it's cool if he hit me with his fucking knuckles. Nah. Put him in the same shit that I'm in.
Exactly. And yeah,
If you can beat me, then beat me.
Exactly. Look, yeah, he was trying to wear Reyes gloves. Everybody know they puncher's gloves, but
Horsehead jumps.
Yeah. But let me tell you this: if you were the A side,
Ain't nobody punching me with them
yeah,
motherfuckers.
and
Tony.
you know that the only chance this guy really has of beating you is hitting you with damn near his knuckles or some puncher's gloves. You don't sit there. Okay, look, same gloves I'm wearing, you wear. He used his A side advantage. Yes, that's not a fixed fight. Okay, that is not a fixed fight. Maidana had the opportunity to walk away from the fight. He took the money. Right, and he made the fight because when you're the A side and you put in that work, like Floyd Mayweather has put in that work to become the A side, you could tell someone you either wear the gloves that I'm wearing or we don't have a fight.
And that's that.
Just
like Floyd had to wear the fat pillowcase gloves that De La Hoya made him wear.
That that were bigger and so they could slow down his his speed and everything else and won't hit as hard. So
I'm good.
All right. Every single fight Floyd either fought someone tailor-made or he put loopholes into the contract to slant the playing field in his direction, or both. That's called smoke and mirrors, not a great legacy. Floyd had great skills, but we don't know what would have happened in fair fights against other top prime guys, especially ones with difficult styles for him. Williams, Margarito, Spadafora, Prime Pacquiao, and so on. Because Floyd avoided those situations.
So in one breath you say we don't know what he would have did against fighters like Paul Williams and Margarito. But then in the other breath you saying that he fight people that's tailor-made. So is Margarito not a tailor-made fighter for him? A slow, forward walking fighter?
Exactly.
Paul Williams took away his own height and fought on the inside a lot.
On the inside, so that was like
Paul Spadafora, it ain't even no point in talking about. No. And then what was the other fighter?
Prime Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, we complained about Marquez being too small, but then Pacquiao smaller than Marquez.
Okay, and this is what I'm gonna say about Pacquiao. You said a prime Pacquiao.
Would it not been an even better Floyd?
Exactly. That's number one, which I wasn't gonna go there, but that's number one. And I always thought that Floyd would beat him anyway, because even though Pacquiao has the hand speed and the angles, he comes and he leaves himself open. Who's the best counter puncher in the game? Floyd Mayweather.
And he's timeable.
Okay,
He's a rhythm fighter.
Yep. But this is the thing I'm gonna say. A prime Pacquiao knocking everybody out, and I don't want to, but you mentioned this. This is the only reason I'm going here with this. He had the opportunity to fight him in his prime. He didn't want to take a needle. He didn't want to do any testing.
He was scared of needles.
He was scared of needles, but miraculously 6 months later, he wasn't scared of them anymore. I'll fight him now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand what you're talking about far as like a prime Pacquiao. He had the opportunity to fight Floyd in his prime. All Floyd said is, I want an even playing field. So we gonna do testing that everybody's doing now. And it
random blood and urine testing.
Yeah, exactly.
What's next?
All right. Okay, off Floyd, back to Canelo. Canelo is the same. Kovalev is not just 36. He has the style Canelo prefers fighting. His weakness matches to Canelo's strength. And most importantly, he's fighting only 10 weeks after an 11-round war with a puncher where Kovalev was almost knocked out. To make matters worse, Kovalev has been doing full VADA drug testing almost nonstop for months. Canelo was not doing any testing at all until 6 weeks before November 2nd, when they will fight.
Sounded to me like a built-in excuse.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you make some valid points. Like I said, your whole thing, you make some valid points.
He didn't make no valid points. You know why? Because Kovalev decided to fight 10 weeks out.
I know, but
Kovalev decided.
What I was getting at though, look, this is what I'm getting at. You're kind of, if you look at it a different way, you're kind of giving Canelo like a compliment. You say he's tailor-made, and these are the people that Canelo like to fight. taller people with great jabs and power? Is that what you're saying? That he likes to fight these type of people?
Because then that would put Charlo in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
Taller with a great jab, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I'm saying, so I'm not understanding. What are you talking about? The foot speed? Because
That would be Triple G too, right?
Triple G.
Triple G, Triple G,
Jacobs.
great jab, hard puncher. Jacobs, great jab. Hard puncher. He is a hard puncher in middleweight. So you're saying that these are the type of people that Canelo liked to
So
fight?
he pretty much saying Canelo good at beating up bullies. Is what he's saying.
Basically, yeah. Beating up people that's bigger than him, and like I said, okay, all right.
All right, the only way boxing will ever return to being a real sport is boxing fans like all of us to become more informed about this. Just like an uninformed populace will be taken advantage of by its politicians. What?
Politicians,
No, I'm the word populace. What?
populous people, populous.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. Will be taken advantage by its politicians. So an uninformed boxing community will be taken advantage of by the promoters, boxers, and networks. Boxing becoming a real sport again has to start with us as fans, no longer promoting or celebrating the people in boxing most responsible for turning it into a smoke and mirrors WWE show instead of a sport. Like Canelo and Floyd. It's cool to respect their athleticism and talent, but please stop celebrating their manufactured legacies or falling for the con every time. Ironically, Sergey Kovalev has taken far more risks than either. Floyd and Canelo never fought someone as good as a 32-year-old Andre Ward. Floyd and Canelo never signed to fight Prime Bertabiev or Prime Stevenson or Prime Bivol like Kovalev did, but got avoided by the first two and lost before the fight with the third was supposed to happen. If you want boxing to be a real sport, celebrate the throwback sportsmen like Kovalev, who fight the best guys of any styles while they are still at their best.
So
Don't celebrate Canelo and Floyd, who are business franchises built on a combination of talent and smoke and mirrors, but who are the opposite of all-time greats who take on true challenges or on even playing fields. When's the last time Kovalev drained an opponent or paid him to wear bad gloves for his style? Never.
So celebrate Kovalev, but don't celebrate Canelo when he beat him.
Yeah, basically that's it. Okay. Look, you're right about look, we as fans need to stick together about boxing, but look, what you got to understand also that boxing is a business.
It's a business first.
Yeah,
That's the
business
part that we
first,
forget.
Exactly, yeah, and
It's
look,
a business first.
And when we sit there, we talk about this. We're not the ones in there, but it is our money, and we do have the right to withhold it. You're absolutely right. If we don't like something or we don't have to support it. That's true. But we're not the ones that's in there taking the punches, and boxing is a business first. This is one of the only sports that does not have a retirement plan. So when fighters do what's best for them, you have to understand.
You gotta respect it.
You gotta respect it. I mean, you don't have to like it, but you have to respect it because you're not the one in the ring. So, I mean, look, you have two people on here that are diehard fight fans, and you have one person who's a diehard fight fan, but he knows the politics better than any of us on this panel. So you will see arguments between us because I'm dead fast on being a fan and talking about the fights I want. He's dead fast on being a fan and talking about the fights he wants, but he'll let you also know why those fights aren't happening if they're not happening.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, at heart, I want to see Canelo fight Charlo.
Right.
I want to see Spence fight Crawford. Right. I wanted to see Wilder versus Joshua. Right. But in the grand scheme of things, I also have to be realistic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I also have to understand why we're not getting the fights. Like, to be honest, you pretty much want us to be like a little kid that can't get a toy that he wants and have a temper tantrum about it. Mm-hmm. Instead of being an adult and understanding why it's not happening. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Shit, I want to win the lottery. I can't fucking get mad at Copper Fit because I don't win when the fucking numbers come out.
But like you said, hey, look, I wholeheartedly agree with you as a fan. Look, you have the right to get pissed off, grab your
Yeah.
ball from the playground and go home.
Yeah.
You have that right.
And that's cool.
Yeah, and that's cool. But you also you have to understand that the reason why some of these, it's not like boxing was back in the day. It's a lot more promoters and promotional companies and different deals signed, and they don't do
Network deals.
network deals where they don't do cross marketing unless
it matters.
It matters.
Unless
and
it's
they can both
beneficial.
so they can both profit.
Because and shout out to Fred from Barbershop Conversations. He did an interview with Bob Arum, where Bob Arum was pretty much saying Crawford don't sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it wouldn't make sense for ESPN to try to split money with Fox or Showtime or whoever Earl Spence is going to fight with if and when that fight happens. Because at the end of the day, Bob Arum is saying he already lost money on a Amir Khan fight. He's already lost money on the Victor Postol fight. Because Crawford is not doing numbers that's beneficial to the company. So what makes you think you're going to be able to get a Sean Porter Crawford fight or a Thurman Crawford fight? If Earl Spence and Crawford is not a big enough fight to make those two networks work together, then ain't no other fight going to be. You know, unless he fighting Canelo, or unless he going to make a jump and fight somebody on the DAZN side of Demetrius Andrade or somebody like that, because it seems that Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn work together fine. So
Yeah, I mean, the only way that fight would happen is if somebody would be willing to go over to ESPN, because we know Bob Arum is not going to let.
Well, it's not even about being willing. It's about, I don't think Fox is going to allow Earl Spence to go.
I ain't talking about Earl
ESPN.
Spence, like Sean Porter.
Oh yeah, I think Sean Porter can go to ESPN, but Bob Arum got to pay some money.
Exactly. That's
You
what
can't
I'm talking
offer
about.
Danny Garcia $3 million and turn around and offer Amir Khan $7.
I know that's
6-7 million.
Yeah, that's freaking
like,
ridiculous. Yeah.
Especially when these guys, their purse might say $2 million, but these guys getting 6-7 million when it's all said and done.
Yeah, because they.
Because most of them got their own
co-promoted.
promotional
Exactly.
companies. They get money on the back end.
So that was the end of it, Alan?
Y'all know there's a few more comments. Y'all want to read them all or just?
No, we
No,
just
we
want.
just- yeah,
I responded to most of them, but because his was so long.
Yeah, he got.
Yeah.
Well, he put this also. Canelo fans acting like age don't matter in boxing all of a sudden. In that case, if Canelo beats Kovalev, Canelo is light years better than Bernard Hopkins because Kovalev beat B-Hop wide. So if Canelo beats Kovalev at all, he's twice the fighter B-Hop is.
Yeah, right now he beat the shit out of B-Hop.
Cause age don't matter. Right.
7.
Yeah, like
This is what I'm talking about. We have to be consistent, otherwise the fabric of the sport dissolves beneath our feet.
the thing is, you can't. You see, y'all get so caught up in doing this triangle effect. If this person beat this person, then that means because this person beat that person. That no, you can't do that. Like Bernard Hopkins' style and Kovalev's style and Canelo's style are all three different styles.
And Bernard Hopkins was older than Kovalev is right now when
Right.
he fought Kovalev.
Right.
He was in his 40s when he fought Kovalev, I believe.
And not even that. Like, regardless of the age, I still think Kovalev would have been a tough out for Bernard Hopkins because of how big and how long he was. Bernard Hopkins is a more of an in close bang, like a Andre Ward,
Yeah.
but a smaller version. You know, but Canelo's style is so much different from Kovalev. You can't use that. You know, shit. B-Hop might can beat Canelo, but Canelo might can beat Kovalev, but then Kovalev can be like, you can't use that, man. You can't use that.
How old was
can't use
Kovalev
it.
when he fought Andre Ward? That was like, those fights were like 3 years ago?
No, I was way more than 3 years ago.
Way more.
Yeah, Andre Ward was like 2-3 years ago.
No, that's what he asked. He said, when was the
No,
Kovalev?
Kovalev, Andre
Andre
Ward.
Ward.
fight.
Oh, Andre Ward.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Bernard Hopkins. Yeah, like 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
like-
Kovalev was 30, around 33,
33,
32,
34.
33 at the time.
Somewhere around there. But, I mean,
But the thing is, he tried to make it seem as if people thought Ward was a tough out for Kovalev. If you go back and look at those blogs, them people thought Kovalev was going to kill Andre Ward.
Yeah, that's why they
Them
wanted
people
to
do-
actually
yeah.
go up there because
Well,
they
a
thought
lot
he
of
was
that
going
had to do with the factor of Andre Ward's layoff too.
Nah,
But he
people,
came back
people
and,
thought
they
because
thought he was gonna-
Kovalev was stretching people out
Yeah, that he
that
could
he
beat
was
Andre
going.
Ward.
Yeah,
And
like,
it
I
was
remember
like,
that.
okay,
Yeah,
look.
I thought it was a dangerous fight for Andre Ward too.
I mean, it was a
It
dangerous
was a
fight.
dangerous fight.
That's
That's
not,
why I
that's
went
not, yeah, that's
tooth
what,
and nails.
exactly. But look, I appreciate your comments, man. I really do.
We definitely
And
did.
that's why we
appreciate it.
responded to you because you took the time to write that comment. Look, feel free to respond. Please don't write another book
Yeah.
because we're not gonna.
We'll take a paragraph.
Yeah, we take a paragraph.
But not the whole dissertation.
Yeah, not the whole dissertation. But shout out to you and look, you seem like you know your boxing, man. And hey, look, this is just our opinion.
And yeah, you got to keep your feelings
Yeah,
out, man.
yeah.
Because like you said, if your favorite fighter is Triple G, I'm pretty sure we can go through his resume with a fine tooth comb and pull out a whole bunch of stuff. If your favorite fighter is Sugar Ray Leonard, we can go through his resume with a fine tooth comb and pull out a whole bunch of stuff. And make a whole
Ray Leonard.
Who? I'm just using. I mean, ain't nobody excluded. Floyd Mayweather, you can go through his resume and fine tooth
go
comb.
through Floyd. I done done that before, but Ray Leonard.
You can go through his too. You just choose not to because you're such a fan.
And then do it, fam. I mean, Ray Leonard.
What about him? Can you not go through his resume and find shit?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. So
What?
that's
okay.
for another video.
Okay, well, just one little thing. I mean,
He didn't fight Aaron Pryor. All right, that's one right there.
Pryor didn't move up and
It don't matter.
okay,
147.
but this, Alan, we know that Ray has admitted to the reason why he wanted an immediate rematch with Roberto Duran because he knew Duran blew up to like 180 pounds.
Yeah, he
So-
waited till the man was 200 pounds to make him fight.
So he when the man was fighting,
he didn't make
That's
the ring
true.
get in the ring.
but he
did.
knew it. He knew it, and yeah, I mean
The whole
Duran-
point is,
look,
if we want to go through and
Yes.
fine tooth comb things, we can.
I know that. I just hate the fact that you use Ray Leonard.
All right, well, we
he
gonna
said-
use him.
He said Floyd Mayweather too.
You
But
can go
yeah,
through
let's end
anybody.
this video because we'll go off into a whole other thing, man.
Yeah.
And, look,
Punch for pound. Thank
punch
you.
for pound.
Punch for
Punch for
Oh,
pound.
that's what it. Oh, that's what.
Yeah,
it,
thank
yeah,
you.
punch for pound. Thank you for your comments,
Appreciate the
man.
comment.
Yep. And keep.
Don't do that shit no more.
Yeah.
We out.
Keep watching, subscribing, hating, whatever. Like I said, we out.
out.